Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Data Cloud Now. I'm currently in San Francisco, where I'm now delighted to be joined by Dipti Borkar, Vice President and GM at Microsoft, along with Chris Child, VP Product Management at Snowflake. Such a pleasure to be with both of you here today.
Thanks, Ryan. Excited to be here.
Thank you for having us.
Looking forward to diving in. We're seeing customers increasingly focused on making their data architectures and pipelines more interoperable. What are the primary drivers in making data interoperability a critical priority today? Dipti, why don't we start with you?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really important question. If you look at customers' actual architectures, there's multiple platforms, multiple engines. They want to do more and more with their data. Data is getting more important, and hence interoperability. I think there's three key factors that are actually driving this. Flexibility, number one, to support multiple engines and options and clouds even. The second one I would say is cost. We are increasingly trying to go down to a single copy of data. Why have multiple copies when you can have interop and really have that single copy and a view of your entire data estate. And I would say innovation, obviously the third, especially with AI coming in, data is everywhere and customers increasingly want their models, their agents, multi-agents to access this data wherever it is. And so that's really driving that interop. Yeah.
Great, Dipti. Chris, from your seat.
Yeah, we at Snowflake, our view has always been that in order to make better business decisions, you need access to all of your data in a way where you can very quickly stitch together and find the patterns that you're missing or the interesting trends happening across lots of systems. And to do that, you need to be able to have your data in an interoperable way. You may not want to use the same engine to ask those questions. You may want to bring the latest and greatest AI models to run. You may want to use some tools that a partner or another company has built. And so having an interoperable way to access and run with your data, we think is critically important to really just being able to push your business forward and drive the kinds of answers that you want out of your data.
Great perspective. We're currently at Snowflake Summit, and the AI Data Cloud ecosystem is quite literally all around us. And last year at Snowflake Summit, we had a big product announcement with Microsoft. Could you kindly refresh for the audience watching your memory of what was announced and let us know what the latest takeaways have been since then? Dipti, why don't we start with you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is such an exciting partnership, right? We've come a long way since then. Last year, we announced full bi-directional interop, the vision for that. Data from Snowflake can be accessed in Microsoft OneLake and Microsoft Fabric. Data from OneLake can be accessed in Snowflake. This is really kind of what customers are looking for. And since then, we've made a ton of progress. There's all of this revolves around Apache Iceberg. Apache Iceberg is something that is open source. It's an open format, super important for customers to be not locked in. And it's not just Snowflake and Microsoft, it's a lot of other players who are participating in this open source mission and vision. And so that's really what it's about.
Great job, Chris, from your seat.
The partnership really comes down, as Dipti said, to the Apache Iceberg project. It's a community-driven, community-owned project that we're both fortunate to participate in. And what it means is, as Dipti mentioned, we're able to take data that lives inside OneLake, and you're able to immediately start using and querying that in Snowflake without having to copy the data or move the data. And you're able to do the same the other way. Iceberg tables that are managed by Snowflake can just be added as shortcuts in your OneLake and immediately used with all the various different tools that Microsoft provides, Fabric and otherwise. Since we announced that, we've built a lot of it. We announced it and it wasn't all actually in the product yet. So you can now create Iceberg tables in Snowflake, write directly to OneLake from Snowflake directly, read, and it works in the other direction as well. The other big thing that we've done is last year we announced Apache Polaris, which is an open source Apache governed catalog. And we've been working together a lot on making sure that you can integrate not just at the data level, but make sure that our catalogs integrate well at the same time so that you can do things like control access to the data, discoverability of the data, and now we're working towards governance of the data in a sort of combined open way.
It's wonderful to hear and exciting how we're working together to truly provide choice, increase flexibility, and that interoperability, which is top of mind for customers. And it's no secret that AI is also top of mind. For the audience watching who are looking to empower their organizations to achieve more with AI, what is the one core piece of strategic advice you'd like to offer to ensure they're building a future built around collaboration? Chris, why don't we start with you?
Yeah, so we're seeing every one of our customers adopt AI in a lot of very interesting ways. It really depends on the type of business that they're trying to build or the challenges that they have. But one of the things that they all run into is when you want to take those interesting AI new capabilities and experiences and agents and actually put them into production, your data has to be set up in a way that you trust, that's well governed and well controlled, so that you can trust the outputs of the models. For example, if you're not entirely sure if there's PII in the input data, you don't know if the model might start spouting out PII in cases where you don't want it to. And so I think the biggest advice that I have and what we work with a lot of our customers on is how do you get your data kind of simplified and in a really strong foundation with strong governance and understanding of exactly what you have so that you can build these incredible experiences on top of it.
Great perspective. And Dipti, what do you?
Yeah, and completely agree with Chris here. The foundation is really data, right? For all of AI, they say garbage in, garbage out. Your models are only going to be as good as your data. Pardon if not, pardon the French, if you will. But that's really what it comes down to. The foundation has to be built right. Once you have a full view of the data estate, whether it's virtualized or whether it's really kind of put into one place, you then have the opportunity to use whether it's Cortex AI or whether it's Copilot, all of this on top of that single view of your data estate. That's the vision that we have of Microsoft OneLake, in some ways. And with this, you can then build on top of it where data from Snowflake can then be accessed through our copilots downstream, even with Power BI. And so natural language access to data, wherever it might live, Snowflake included, gets available to non-coders as well as business analysts, right? Everyone that needs access to it. So really, I think that's building the foundation right is critical, and then build AI and the models on top of that.
It's wonderful to hear, and I've loved diving deep into the overall partnership. But before we go, I have to ask, what's next for Snowflake and Microsoft? Chris, why don't we start with you?
Yeah, so we're continuing to innovate and continuing to work very closely together. Even just this week here at Summit, we've announced a number of deep partnerships with Microsoft. We now support taking your Snowflake data and making use of it in the Microsoft 365 copilots. We've added support for taking Snowflake Cortex AI and using that integrated in Microsoft Teams. We've also integrated Azure OpenAI directly into Snowflake and Cortex so that with your data and your governance and all of your guarantees, you can make use of the latest and greatest models from OpenAI via Azure directly inside Snowflake, which is really, really powerful. So I think we view this as an incredibly important partnership and many more very exciting things we're working on to come.
Yeah, and just the tip of the iceberg, no pun intended.
Love it.
It's the beginning of a really critical partnership, I think, given how much innovation and how many kind of use cases we can empower customers towards. Chris talked about Teams and many of the other areas. Dataverse is another area where we can have Snowflake and Dataverse sort of integrated in. Security and governance around AI and data will continue to be really important, and we're starting to do more there. And both in the open source front together for the community, but also from a product perspective, and really looking forward to what this brings and empowering our customers in this AI age.
It's an exciting next chapter. Thank you so much for joining me here today.
Absolutely, pleasure.
And for the audience watching, I'm Ryan Green with Data Cloud Now. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you soon.